This morning, PLTR stock has surpassed $19 per share and got within jumping distance of $20. The last time I checked in with a Palantir stock analysis video, the stock was at $15 coming out of the earnings report. What is going on? Well, there's actually a lot to explain. I've got some news about ARK Invest's increasing investment, George Soros and his up-for-grabs stake in the company, and a recent blog post by Palantir that gives us even more insights into the company and their core business. If you're new to this channel and are interested in Palantir, you can find all my PLTR videos in a playlist linked in the description. I hope all of the shareholders out there that have been following since my IPO video back in September are really enjoying their gains. It's almost 100% at this point. And I could never in good conscience tell you to buy a stock because everyone's financial setup is different, and you have to find investments that match up with your goals and your pain tolerance. I'm interested in high growth companies such as Tesla and Palantir. I will also be looking into Lemonade Insurance soon and perhaps make some content about them shortly. I'm working on putting together a rotation of high risk, high return stocks that I believe will have the ability to 10x in value in 10 years. That's the mission of this channel. You can take a look at the official website, theinvestingopportunity.com. I haven't updated it yet for Palantir, but I will, and we'll soon be adding others there as well. Anyways, let's get started with ARK Invest headed by Cathie Wood. Last week, they added approximately 1 million shares of Palantir to their ARK Next Generation Internet ETF fund. Palantir represents around 0.5% of the fund's assets as the third lowest holding as I record this. Now that may seem like nothing, but ARK is dealing with a lot of money here, and they did start with a small, very small, 20,000 share holding, yet have increased that significantly following the Q3 report. And the ARK W ETF is up over 100% in 2020, kind of like Palantir stock, and is one of the best performing ETFs out there. I've been following ARK Invest for a couple years now, and what I've learned is that Cathie, as the Chief Investing Officer, CIO, has a tendency to make a small purchase at first, which she did with Palantir, and then start accumulating shares in chunks over subsequent trading sessions and with increasing conviction. That is what we are seeing with them increasing their position in PLTR stock. I'm guessing, and yes, this is just me speculating, ARK was impressed with Palantir's Q3 earnings report and conference call, hence why they chose to increase their position by many multiples. This is a great sign, and I might point out that they may be selling as the stock rises, since that's their management style. They do it with Tesla and they do it with other stocks, so don't be too concerned if you see ARK selling PLTR in the high teens and buying back lower, if that does end up being the case. On to the next big investors. Soros Fund Management, run by the aforementioned billionaire investor and philanthropist George Soros and Third Point, disclosed late last week that they both own shares of Palantir. They acquired 18.5 million shares of Palantir, and Third Point took a more modest position of 2.4 million shares. So those are both two big investors. But apparently, we just learned that Soros is planning to sell his entire stake in Palantir. Per disclosure, Soros Fund Management's current stake in Palantir comes to about 1% of the voting power of Palantir. And that's not a small portion, I might add. And they said it was a result of an early-stage investment made in 2012 by a portfolio manager who is no longer working with the management team. Continuing on, Soros Fund Management said in a statement on Tuesday, November 17th, that it is not legally or contractually obligated to hold and will continue to sell shares as permitted. Now, why would they do that? Well, what's their justification? They say that the fund, quote, does not approve of Palantir's business practices, end quote, and that it, quote, made this investment at a time when the negative social consequences of big data were less understood, end quote. Soros Fund Management said it would, quote, not make an investment in Palantir today, end quote. These are some very interesting quotes. I'll let Palantir speak for themselves with their blog post in just a few minutes, but how do I, as an investor in Palantir, react to this? It does give me a little pause considering they could know something we don't, and this could temporarily stop the rally in the share price, but then again, this likely has no long-term impact on the company, and I see them continuing to execute as they currently are. Let me be clear, this does not change the long-term story of the company, in my opinion. If anything, it may present a buying opportunity if downward pressure on the stock materializes. So what do you think about this news? ARK is adding and Soros is selling. Leave your reactions in the comments. Did I miss something here? On to the blog post that I want to bring up and share with all of you. I'll read some passages and add video clips where I feel it is necessary. With this latter half of the video, I'm just trying to portray Palantir in the most accurate way possible. These are their words. You have to decide if you believe them or not.
So we're growing 49% on an extremely large base with 78% gross margins. We don't see anyone else doing this.
In order to understand it, you have to understand that our business model is actually very different than what you'll find in other software companies. Palantir builds products approximately 5 years before the world knows that it needs these products. If you look at our two core products, PG and Foundry, they were both conceived. PG was conceived when people thought that integrating data according to norms and the scale and intricate issues involved in data in the government context, especially in the anti-terror context, was a worthless way to look at data, especially the idea that data protection civil liberties would be a necessary part of working with data. This was at least 5 years, if not 10 years ahead of its time. And then Foundry, which was conceived of roughly 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago, and really came into fruition. We put all of our customers, commercial customers, in Foundry in 2017, but it was the need to supply a complete stack of software to an enterprise was built on the bias that we believed that crisis in the Western world would be so extreme that the Frankenstein monster way of servicing an enterprise with 50 different products that have to be sewn together by a myriad of engineers, none of whom in particular are coordinated, but on the back of PowerPoints that take years to develop, if not, and a cost structure that can go into the hundreds of millions, would not work in a time of macro, either economic or political crisis.
Palantir has been described as a secretive company. There is some truth to this. For many years, we primarily served institutions with exceptional confidentiality expectations in fields like defense and intelligence. We often had little choice but to remain silent about our work, even when misunderstandings about the nature of our business appeared in the media or in the public sphere. Now that we serve clients in a wider range of sectors, we have an opportunity to be more open. This is particularly true for sectors like healthcare, where Palantir software is used to process personal data. People have the right to understand how Palantir's technology works and how customers use it. Common misconceptions recur, particularly around the assumption that Palantir can use or transfer client data for its own purposes, or can join data from different clients together to sell on. This is not how we operate and never has been. In this blog post, we will explain more about the nature of Palantir's business. Palantir's business model. Palantir is not a data broker or data aggregator. Unlike many tech companies, our business model is not based on the monetization of personal data. We do not collect, store, or sell personal data. We do not use personal data to train proprietary AI or machine learning models to share or resell to other customers. We never facilitate the movement of data between clients except where those specific clients have entered into an agreement with each other. Palantir is a software company. We build digital infrastructure for data-driven operations and decision-making. Our products serve as the connective tissue between an organization's data, its analytics, capabilities, and operational execution. Palantir's platforms tie these together by bringing the right data to the people who need it, allowing them to take data-driven decisions, conduct sophisticated analytics, and refine operations through feedback. We license this software to organizations who receive secure and unique instances of our platforms in which to conduct their own work on their own data. This infrastructure helps organizations bring the right data together at the right time to answer complex questions and make intelligent decisions. This is particularly valuable when existing systems are fragmented and essentially information is held in silos that can't communicate with each other. Healthcare organizations, for instance, have used our software to tackle challenges like efficiently allocating PPE supplies when thousands of hospitals across the country have radically different and constantly changing levels of supply and demand for each item of PPE. Our software platforms allow organizations to better manage the data that they already lawfully control. These platforms are used in some of the most sensitive and secure information environments in the world, necessitating world-class data protection and governance. As such, we have an exceptionally strong information security record. With regards to consumer data, we act as a data processor, not a data controller. Our software and services are used under direction from the organizations that license our products. These organizations define what can and cannot be done with their data. They control the Palantir accounts in which analysis is conducted, and any Palantir engineers that assist them in their work follow these directions. We do not and cannot reuse or transfer our clients' data for our own purposes. Attempting to profit from customer data in this way would be illegal and would undermine the trust that is necessary to work in the sensitive environments in which we have built our business. They do leave an email, which is business@palantir.com, so do reach out to them if you have anything to ask, and please let me know if they respond to you.
And one of the things that I think people have already noticed is that the revenue has grown dramatically, that the quality of the revenue is, in my view, astonishing. And then in the combination of quality of revenue and growth, it's a very unique company.
Right now, the stock is sitting at $18. I think it could move lower from here, but I've been warning about that for a little while now. Right now, I'm not buying nor selling. I think this is a really strong company in the making. They just have to prove themselves, and that will take time. So we just went over ARK Invest's increasing investment, George Soros and why he is selling his stake in the company, and the new blog post by Palantir that gives us even more to contemplate about their business model. Is Palantir the real deal? Are they the next giant tech company 10 years out? Drop a like if you think so. Until next time, peace.